Good morning, warriors.
Good morning, Mr. Doctor.
God is good.
All the time.
All the time.
God is good.
Please join me in the pledge to the Bible. I pledge allegiance to the Bible, God's holy word. I will make it a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. I will hide its words in my heart that I might not sin against God. Join me in the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, we have been working through our catechism. We've spent a lot of time with the problem of sin, and we learn about sin so that we hate it and turn from it more and more each day. Let's go all the way back, though. I think it's been a while for us since we've reviewed from the very beginning. Let's see how our brains are working this morning. Who made you?
God made me.
What else did God make?
God made all things.
Why did God make you in all things?
For his own glory.
How can you glorify God?
By loving him and doing what he commands.
Why are you to glorify God?
Because he made me and takes care of me.
Is there more than one true God?
No, there's only one true God.
And how many persons does this one God exist?
In three persons.
Name these three persons.
The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
What is God?
God is a spirit and does not have a body like man.
Where is God?
God is everywhere.
Does that mean God is here? Yes, yes. If he's everywhere, he's here. We have been talking about the virtue of honesty. Remember, virtue is taking a human quality and we keep fine-tuning it. We talked about it in the pep rally about virtues like a pencil. A finely sharpened pencil glides across the page. It's beautiful, but eventually it gets dull, so we've got to keep working and sharpening it. Honesty is one of those things that we need to continue to work on. Yesterday we talked about that we need to be honest with the things that we know. So when someone asks us a question, or if someone is asking, do you know about something? We need to be honest. We tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Sometimes it's easy to say, well, I don't know, I don't remember, even though maybe we did. We talked about how when we start doing that, what we think are little lies, we get a taste for things that seem delightful, like Edmund with Turkish delight, but in the end, they turn out to be despair and gloom. Well, third grade is reading one of my favorite stories, Pilgrim's Progress. And in that part of the story, I don't know if they're there yet, so I'll try not to be a spoiler. But in that story, Christian and his companion, Hopeful, have been traveling a long time. They're exhausted and very, very tired. They've been told on no uncertain terms to follow the holy way. Well, they have been walking on the holy way along a river. It's a beautiful meadow. It's very pleasant. It's been quite refreshing. But then the holy way turns and veers onto a very rough road. There's big rocks that hurt their feet. It's tough walking. And eventually that opens up to another meadow that looks very, very pleasant, but there's a wall on one side. Well, Christian climbs up over the wall and sees a very, very smooth path on the other side. And as far as he can see, the two roads follow each other. They're parallel to each other. So he tells Hopeful, why not jump over this wall and let's just walk on the easier path? Good idea or bad idea? Bad idea. They've been told, don't leave the holy way. Well, Christian decides to do the easier thing, and Hopeful reluctantly follows. Well, of course, as you know, bad things happen. Eventually it turns dark. They almost drown in a flood, and they wake up in the morning to hear footsteps of a giant despair. What happens when we decide to make small little compromises in being truthful and make little lies? They don't seem like it's a really big deal. But eventually what happens is that we turn further and further away from the way that we've been told to do. So today, the thing that I want us to remember is sometimes telling the truth is the hardest thing to do. And sometimes it's very, very difficult, and sometimes it's very challenging. And it looks like there's an easier way that if I just don't tell all the truth, or maybe I just lie a little bit, that'll be much easier and it won't make much of a difference. The Bible is very clear about how God hates dishonesty and God hates lies. That we, even though it's the hardest thing to do, we must always be truthful. We must always be honest, even if we think it's the hardest thing to do, because God will bless that. The way that we grow in our honesty and our love for truth is to know more about Jesus. So let's sing our song, More and More About Jesus. So, even though it may be the hardest thing to do, telling the truth is always the best thing to do. So, be a truth teller.
Even when it hurts.
The Lord be with you.